Welcome to Champion Minded, the podcast for those who aim for excellence, not only in the sports arena, but in life. My name is Allistair, author, speaker, mindset and performance coach, and my goal is to help you unleash your unlimited potential and provide you with the tools to achieve greatness. Are you ready to become champion minded? Then let's do this. Hey everybody, welcome to the Champion Minded podcast, or welcome back to it. I'm Allistair McCaw. In this episode of What It Takes, I have two-time Grand Slam champion, former world number 3 and Olympian, Mary Pierce. So for some of you who aren't familiar with Mary, she was a former tennis professional who represented France internationally in team competitions and the Olympics. She was born in Canada to an American father and French mother, and holds citizenships in all 3 countries. She has 4 Grand Slam titles, 2 in singles, 1 in doubles, and 1 in mixed doubles. She's reached 6 Grand Slam finals in total, and her Grand Slam titles came at the Australian Open in 1995, and of course the 2000 French Open, which, like I said, is 20 years this week that we're doing this episode with Mary. She's the last French player, male or female, to win the latter title. She won the doubles event in 2000 with Martina Hingis. So yes, she won the singles and the doubles that year in 2000. I mean, at your home slam, what an incredible achievement. She's reached an additional Grand Slam women's doubles title at the 2000 Australian Open, also partnering Martina Hingis. She won a total of 18 WTA singles titles and 10 WTA doubles titles, and also twice reached the final of the season-ending WTA Tour Championships. Mary was also inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame last year, that's 2019, together with Li Na and Evgeny Kafelnikov. Now, in this really cool conversation with Mary, we get into where it all began for her, her upbringing, how she started in the game. Also, we discuss her time at the Nick Bolleteirri Academy down in Florida. We talk about the man himself, Nick Bolleteirri. We discuss what she enjoyed most about being on the tour, what she didn't enjoy most about being on the tour, what her best moments were, what her worst moments were, how she handled the pressure moments, also dealing with injuries, especially in the latter half of her career, how she was able to deal with that, also from a mindset point of view, who her greatest influences were. Also, she has some advice for parents, some really, really good advice, I have to say, and also her greater purpose in life as well. So, guys, this was a really enjoyable conversation. Like I said, I was super honored that she came onto the podcast, especially during such a busy week for her. I know she's had a lot of commitments, with this being the 20-year anniversary, but here it is. Enjoy this one, guys. This is Mary Pierce. Mary, welcome to the Champion Minded podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Allistair. It's wonderful to be with you. I'm honored and privileged that I've finally made it on your podcast.
Yeah, I know. It's been a few years, right?
Yeah, definitely. Been wanting to do this for a while, so I'm glad I finally made it happen.
Yeah, you know what's funny is that the last few weeks has been a positive. We were just chatting about this just before we got on the call now, and about the positives of obviously the last 10 weeks, 12 weeks of COVID-19 is that we've been able to do things that we probably wouldn't be able to do other time, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's been a really weird time. It's been really strange. Definitely a time of adaptation to a new routine, I'd have to say, in the beginning, especially not having days that are very, structured time-wise with appointments and have to be here and have to be there at certain times. And so it was very different in the beginning. And I had, it was interesting too. Like, I had some good days and some bad days. There were ups and downs. And I think everybody went through a little bit of a different different ways to deal with things and cope with things. But, even mentally and emotionally with everything going on outside in the world and, the virus and are you going to get it? Are you not going to get it? How do you get it? Do you have it? Do you not have it? So there's just a lot of things for people to deal with mentally and emotionally as well. And so, it was an interesting kind of roller coaster for like a month or so there. But it was also a really good time for me. And I think it was one of the richest times for me spiritually as well, because it gave me a lot of free time and a lot of quiet time that I haven't had maybe as much lately as I needed to, just to do a lot of like introspection, and it's kind of like cleaning the house, so like, let's take a look at everything A to Z. So yes, I'm home in my home in Florida, and there's a lot of stuff that I can do here, and I did also clean the house, but also for me inside.
It's exercise as well, right?
Right. And then, look inside of me and myself personally and my life. And it was a really, really special time. So the Lord has been doing a lot in my life. And so spiritually, it's been very rich.
Oh, that's great to hear. I mean, obviously, you're someone that's on the road probably around about 25, 30 weeks. It's almost like you're still on the tour, because I know you travel so much. You have TV commitments. You have things with the ITF. You have things with the church. You have so much going on. So you were one of the first persons I thought of when obviously we went into lockdown, because we're both in the same type of field where we travel a lot. So has it been a challenge for you not to get on a plane?
Not at all. I have absolutely loved this, because, I started to get, a little bit tired of traveling, honestly, and just that lifestyle, packing a suitcase and getting in a plane and being in a hotel, and it can be very lonely sometimes, and for me, I just really want to travel less and less, and basically only when it's necessary. Like, I'll travel when I have to, and it depends what I'm doing and why I need to travel, and I will. But I can tell you that I have loved this time being home. I can't remember the last time I have been in one place without having to pack a suitcase or take a plane this long. I don't know if I ever have. Maybe when I had an injury. But other than that, no. But I've actually just been loving it. It's been great.
Yeah, it's funny. I was chatting to a guest last week on the podcast from UFC in Vegas, Duncan French, and we were just discussing that as well. I think the last time I ever spent 10 weeks at home was probably when I was around about 16 or 17. So, unfamiliar territory for me as well. So now, Mary, I believe this is a special week. It marks a very special anniversary for you. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So it's technically Roland Garros season. It should have happened if there wasn't the coronavirus. So this year is my 20-year anniversary of my Roland Garros title, where I won the singles and the doubles.
Wow.
So it's been really special to reminisce and to look back 20 years ago, which honestly I cannot believe.
Yeah, it's
when
insane.
you think it's like 20 years, I'm like, that's a lot. That's a long time to think that it actually happened that long ago. And it doesn't feel like it's been that long ago. I'm like, gosh, that's a lot of years that have just really gone by. It just seems like it's gone by really quickly. But it's been fun. It's been special. It's been really busy as well. Lots of media requests and interviews and things like that. I'm very, very happy, very proud. I'm still the last French person, male or female, to have won the French. So I'm also, very proud of that as well.
Well, that's the thing. Every time I go into my social media, be it Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, there I see there's another article on you of obviously the 20-year anniversary. I mean, it was a big thing, like you just mentioned there. Now, another French player hasn't done that, and I think honestly, Mary, we obviously know the French crowd can be very hostile. You can be 0-0 very quickly. I mean, tell us, and I know I'm jumping a few sections here in this interview, but tell us about how you were able to handle the pressure of competing in front of a home crowd, especially at Roland Garros.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you ask any tennis player that plays a Grand Slam in their home country, Australia, France, England, USA, there's that extra pressure, extra stress, extra expectation, because you've got now the whole country that's watching you, and everybody wants you to win. Everybody wants you to do well. And, you feel that weight of the country on your shoulders, and you feel that they all want you to win it and do well. And it was always tough, going to the French Open and playing in front of the crowd. And, when you win, they're so happy, and when you lose, they're not, and they let you know it, and it was hard. And I would take it personally early in my career, and it was painful. And sometimes I'd go in the locker room after I lost a match, and I would cry, and I'm like, why are they like that? I tried my best. I can't win every match, But I grew up, and I matured, and I understood, the the French people and their culture, that they're just so passionate and they just want you to win and play well. And so for me, I think there's a few things that, really helped me with that is, one was just experience, two is growing up and maturing, and three was my faith. I became a born again Christian in March of 2000, and 3 months before the Roland Garros tournament that year. And when I arrived at Roland Garros in 2000, everyone just could see there was something different about me. And the journalists were like, well, what have you done? Have you done some sort of mental training, or you just seem so much more relaxed and peaceful at the important points? You don't get mad anymore like you used to on court. What have you done? I just said, well, no, I haven't done anything. It's just that my life now belongs to the Lord, and, he's in control. And, I don't have to worry about my tennis, my results, because I can't control that. But the only thing I can control is, my effort and my attitude. So just to go out there, give 100% and enjoy what I'm doing. And the rest is in his hands. So it really I just felt so much more relaxed. It just took all the pressure and stress off of me, so that I wasn't in control of that he was. And just to go out there and do my best and enjoy it and have fun.
Would you describe it as that you had like a sense of peace? Was it like that, or was it an assurity, or what? Can you describe what that different feeling was for you?
Yeah, it was just a sense of like being, yes, at peace, just relaxed, settled, and just knowing, you know what? Okay, he's got this. I don't have to worry. There's no, anxiety or fear of the outcome. Or yes, there are nerves, because you're obviously always nervous. You get the butterflies in your stomach before your match, because it's normal. You're going to compete. You're going to perform. You're going to be in front of a lot of people. You want to do well. Of course you want to do well. You want to play great. You want to win. But there's no guarantee on those things, But I went there feeling, yes, like settled. In my mind, I was clear. In my body, I just felt strong, but also relaxed at the same time, and just confident. I went out there just knowing that I've done the best that I can to prepare, and just very focused and very relaxed, but just felt strong and at peace. At the same time.
Now, obviously, winning a Grand Slam is probably one of the hardest things to do in sport, and you obviously backed it up by winning another one. But I mean, everything has to just align, right? I mean, it's 7 matches where everything pretty much has to go perfect. How would you approach a Grand Slam? Would it be, would you go in thinking of winning the whole tournament, or were you just focused on the next match? How would you approach a Grand Slam?
Yeah, that is a great question. Going into a Grand Slam, and I think of the 2 that I won in singles, the Australian in 95 and the French in 2000. They're very different. The Australian, I was 20 years old, and I had my coach and my traveling coach, and I had my strength and conditioning coach with me, and we were there in Melbourne for a week beforehand, and we trained very hard. Obviously tapering down before the tournament started, but, very specific and intense sessions, tennis and fitness. And, arriving there, just feeling super fit. We worked a lot on my speed because I wasn't the quickest on the tour. And so I just arrived, feeling very fast around the court. It was hard to get a ball past me, so that gave me a lot of confidence. So that was, I arrived in that tournament, just feeling very fit, very strong, very confident. But when I got to the French Open in 2000, it was very different. I had lost the first round before in a tournament in Spain to a lower-ranked player than me, and it was not a good match. And 3 days before the French Open, my shoulder's hurting, and I can't even lift my arm. I don't know if I'm going to be able to play the tournament, seeing the doctor, spending more time in the training room than anywhere else on the tennis court or in the gym. And so, you're not feeling the most ready, basically, maybe in your game, you don't think you're playing your best tennis, or even physically, like, how am I going to be able to play if I can't serve? But, I think I was able to play the tournament. I had amazing, medical team and treatment, and I was able to play. And I just went out that, yes, when you go and play a Grand Slam, you obviously want to win. That's for sure. And there's no doubt about it. And every time that I stepped out on the court, I believe that I was able to give 100%. Even if I wasn't 100% physically that day or had a little injury or something, I was still I still thought, okay, I can give 100% of myself, and give myself a chance to win. So yes, I do go into those tournaments wanting to win the tournament, but you have to take it, day by day, match by match, and even, you break it down to even moment by moment. And for me, that was something that was really key, to just always staying in the moment and doing the best that I possibly could in that moment. That's going to help me to achieve that goal, be it short term, mid-term, or long term, and winning, a Grand Slam tournament. It is 2 weeks. It's long.
It is. It is. Well, like you just said there, like you just said there, I mean, you usually get there a week before. So you're there, 3 weeks, which is a long time to be obviously in the same hotel. The journey from the hotel to obviously the site. I mean, it is a long time.
Yeah. So, you've got to, get in your routine and you have your plan with your team, exactly what you're doing each day, your training, your tennis, your fitness, your recovery, everything is important, your nutrition, your sleep, your rest, everything that you do as a professional tennis player matters. I always say to everyone, it's not just what you're doing on the court or the gym, it's 24 hours. Everything matters. And you think about everything that I'm doing, is this helping me to be the best tennis player that I can possibly be? Yes or no? And if it's not, why am I doing it?
Was that your mindset?
Definitely. I wanted to be the best that I could possibly be. That was my goal. That was what drove me. That was my motivation. That was, for me, I just wanted to see. Because if I think, well, can I be better than this person, or whatever it is, yes, it's great to have, like, my dream in tennis was to win the French Open. That was my dream. I'm so grateful I was able to accomplish that. It's amazing. But for me, it was, I want to be the best that I can be. And how can I know that? And that's only by giving 100% of myself in everything that I do. And it's the little things that make a big difference. And I say that all the time, to players, to young players, to people who ask me, questions. And I say, you know what? Something so simple, but it really is powerful. And it's the little things. They always add up in the end and make a big difference. And, to be able to go and look back at your career and look at yourself in the mirror, be honest, deep down, and say, do I have any regrets? And, I can feel a peace in myself. I can feel proud of myself, and I can be happy and say, what, I don't have any regrets, because I always felt in the time that I was doing the best that I possibly could. Did I make mistakes? Yes. Did I lose matches? Yes. Did I mess up? Yes. I wasn't perfect. Didn't always do everything right, of course, obviously, because I'm a human being and no one is, and you can't win every match as well. But I did in my heart believe that what I was doing at that time was the best that I possibly could. And then after, you look back and you go, oh, you know what? Okay, maybe that was wrong, or maybe I could have done it this way, or I could have done it different or better. And you learn. So for me, I was always learning and growing. That was the mindset that I also had. I was open to my team and the people around me that I believed in, that I knew were competent and that cared about me, loved me. There was no hidden agendas. They wanted the best for me. And since I believed that they were the best that could help me, I always wanted to learn. I was open. My mind and my heart every day was open to hear what they had to say, to learn, to put it into practice and apply. Try it. It can't hurt to try. What's the worst thing that can happen? It doesn't help. It doesn't make you better. It didn't work. No big deal, but at least you tried it. And I see so many people or so many athletes, they don't even just want to try it. I'm like, but just try. You don't know. So you try, and leave no stone unturned to just try to be the best that you can be.
Why?
And that was what really drove me every day.
Yeah. Mary, why do you think that is? Why do you think some players are reluctant to try or to change?
That's a good question. I wonder myself why sometimes they don't want to try something new. I think there's like the fear of unknown, and maybe it's comfortable just to stay in their comfort zone and not to do something new or not to do something different. And they think that maybe trying something different or new isn't going to be better, or it isn't going to work. So why do it anyways? Or maybe they just don't want to put that effort in, or maybe they're afraid that if they do and it doesn't work, then, there's that thing, well, I put it all out there and it didn't work.
Would you think it has
I think it's linked with fear.
Mm-hmm. Would you think it has something to do with trust as well? I mean, when you were being coached, obviously it takes a while to build up a relationship with a coach and to build up trust. Would you be as open to change very early in your relationship with a new coach, for example?
Yes, I would, because otherwise I wouldn't be working with that person. I think that I have noticed that, some players, they're like, they think they know better. I'm like, okay, that's great. Then you don't need a coach. You just coach yourself. But I couldn't do it on my own, that's for sure. And I was speaking even to Roger Federer's coach, Ivan Lubitich, one day. We were on the same flight flying back from Australia with Roger and his whole team, and I spoke to Ivan for a while on the plane, and he was just telling me how incredible, like, Roger is such a student of the game, and how much he loves it, and how passionate about it he is, and how much they talk about it. And even Ivan sometimes like, okay, Roger, it's enough now. Like, just go relax. Think about something else. Do something else, But he's always talking like, okay, well, what if I hit my backhand over there? Where do you think, my opponent's going to hit it? And then he hits it there. Then, like, what should I do? And so you're like a student of the game. You can never stop learning. I think when you reach a point where you think you know everything or you're not open to learning, that's very dangerous, because you'll never reach your full potential.
Yeah, I mean, what an example. Hey, Roger Federer. I mean, after all these years, after... what is he on 19 slams, 20 slams? I've forgotten what Roger is on. Roundabout.
Whatever it is, it's
amazing. Exactly. It's some ridiculous number. But like you just said, still a student of the game. I mean, I remember a few years back when I was working with Svetlana Kuznetsova, and we were in Dubai. And obviously Roger has his off-season training in Dubai. I think this was maybe 2013. And I think at the time he was with maybe Paul Annacone. It was just before Stefan Edberg came on the team. And they were on the court next to us every morning. So obviously I got a great insight into how he trains. And that is one of the things I picked up as well, is that, well, there was a few things. Professional, the warm-up was very detailed. He had fun while he was working hard, so that is possible.
Yes.
They have a laugh and but they're still working hard. And then that next one, as you mentioned there, Mary, is that they were in discussion about whatever they're talking about, the technique, strategy, whatever it may be. And it just amazed me that a champion like this could still be so interested and so involved, like every single practice. And this is what it was like for 3 weeks. Yeah.
No, exactly. I mean, that's why he's one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
And all champions I've noticed have that character trait. That I've spoken to, the players themselves or their team. They all have that same character trait of being a student, of listening to their coaches, of listening to their trainers. Of, I remember speaking to Guy Forget at the French Open a few years back, and he was actually talking to one of my players who is obsessed with Rafael Nadal, and she was, anything she could know about him, she was like, wants to know, And he said, you want to know Rafa's greatest quality? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
What is when Tony speaks? What does Rafa say? Like, I don't know. He says one word. Si. Meaning yes. Tony speaks, Rafa says yes. Yeah. No questions asked, he does it. Jumps how high? Okay. And he works hard and he does it.
Exactly. Just this past December, I was helping out with Hyung Chung, the South Korean player, and we were in Abu Dhabi for the exhibition. And obviously Rafa was there. So we had a practice with Rafa, and Carlos Moya was with him there, obviously another former number one in the world, another champion. And same thing as well. Now, we've had a few practices with Rafa with players I've worked with, but as you're saying there right now, when the coach speaks, Rafa stops, looks him in the eyes, and listens. It's respectful.
Exactly.
It's coachable. Yes. There's no rolling eyes because the coach is saying something else again. And those, like you said right now, here is someone with multiple slams, number one, and they're still able to pause and listen.
Yes, that is a fantastic quality that Rafa has. Even anytime I pass by him in the hallway, at a Grand Slam, or anywhere, every single time, Allistair, without fault, he will stop. He will look at me in the eyes. He will say, "Hi, Mary, how are you?" Every single time. And I just find that just incredible. He's got such great manners, and he's polite, he's well behaved, and he's just respectful, gentleman. And it's just so nice, and you see these champions that have these great qualities that are so important. And, because they're human beings, they're role models and examples.
I mean, like you just said there now, I mean, and you've experienced this as well, Mary, because obviously you're at the very top of your game as well. So, but just the energy to, sponsors, press, everywhere you go, you can't even go to the supermarket without being recognized. I mean, and then still to have that humility. I mean, you're a model example as well, Mary. I mean, you have humility, you have grace, you have time for people. I mean, it's just a remarkable quality because, especially when you're playing, I mean, everybody's demanding everything from you,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure. We're human beings, at the end of the day. And I think what's the most important thing? And I think it's who we are as a person first and foremost. And, our integrities and the different qualities that we have as human beings. I think for me, that's more important than anything, and being a professional tennis player and all the results that you have is fantastic. That's just short-lived. But I think who we are as a person is more important. I think as we develop ourselves and also try to be the best version of ourselves, that's going to automatically help us in whatever else we do in our career, tennis or whatever sport it is. It's going to help us to also be the best that we possibly can be in our sport. And like I said again, a role model for others, because others, we need examples before us and in front of us of how to do it and how's the best way to do it.
Mary, I just have to say right now that I'm very happy that this conversation has gone to script with all the questions I had here for you, because it's completely gone the opposite way, which I'm very, very happy about, talking about these things right now.
It's great. It's great.
I don't think I've asked you one question that's on my list here yet, but it's actually gone in a better direction than I thought it would. Great. So yeah. But listen, let's go.
No worries.
Let's go back to where it all started for you. Now, you have an interesting story, because in terms of professional athletes, you started actually pretty late, didn't you?
Yes. I started tennis at 10 years old, which is late compared to everybody else. And I wanted to be a pediatrician. So being a professional tennis player was not at all something that I had dreamt about or thought about. And I was just at the tennis club one day with my friend from school. And, we'd spend the weekends together or the afternoons together, do our homework, have dinner, and then I'd go home or she'd go home. And this particular day, I was going to go with her and to her house and do our homework together, have dinner, and then go back home. Well, she had a tennis lesson, so I followed her to the tennis club, and I waited in the clubhouse because, we're in Florida, and it's very hot and humid, and I didn't like to sweat, so I stayed inside in the clubhouse in the air conditioning and watched my friend playing. And, everyone was on one court, and they were hitting the ball and running around. I think it was called, Around the World or King of the Court or something like that. And I just watched it. It looked like fun, and someone saw me and they're like, "Oh, you want to play?" I said, "Yeah, sure." Like, "Well, grab your racket, get on the court." "Well, I don't have a racket." They're like, "Oh, okay, go to the pro shop and get one." So I went to the pro shop. I asked the lady for a racket. She's like, "Well, what do you usually play with?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know. I've never played before." She's like, "Oh, okay, honey, here, take this racket and go to the court over there." So she pointed to a court where there was one coach and two kids, like half my age, and standing on the same side of the court, and he was showing them how to hold the racket, and he was hand tossing them the ball, and they have to hit it. And I was like, "I don't want to do this. I just want to go over there and play that game, Anyways, I went on the court, and the coach tossed me the ball, and I hit it, and it went over the net and in the court. And he looked at me and he was like, "Well, who told you to come here?" I said, "Well, the lady in the pro shop." Was like, No, wrong court. Go to the next court." So I went to the next court, and 5 minutes later, the coach says to me, "Well, who told you to come here?" I said, "Well, the coach there." He's like, No, wrong court. So he sent me to the next court. So third court, I stay there. And at the end of this practice session, the kids on the court were hitting serves. They were playing points. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I've never done this before." Let me try to be the last in line every time so I can do what they're doing. So I did that. Never actually made it to the other court where they were all playing Around the World. But anyways, I finished. I got off the court, and I'm looking for my friend, and I see this tall man come to me, and he says, "Hi, my name is Kevin. I'm the head pro here. I've never seen you before. How old are you, and where are you from, and how long have you been playing?" I said, "Well, my name is Mary. I'm Rachel's friend. I'm from here. I'm 10 years old, and I've been playing about 45 minutes." And he's like, "No, but how many years?" And I was like, "Well, it's my first day." And he said, "Okay, come back tomorrow with your parents." I was like, "Okay." So I went off to Rachel, like, "Oh no, I think I'm in trouble. I have to come in with my parents tomorrow." And so anyways, I come back the next day, and I see it like it's yesterday. I see my parents talking to Kevin, the head pro, and I'm waiting. What are they talking about? And then they come to me and say, "Okay, Mary, you're going to do just like Rachel now, and you're going to take lessons 3 times a week for an hour after school." I was like, "Okay." I did what my parents told me to do, and that's what I did. And that's how I started playing tennis.
Wow. Now, obviously, I mean, I love that story. Obviously, things happened very quickly for you because already at 12, I think you were French national champion, if I'm correct there, and then you went to the famous, obviously, Nick Bolleteirri Academy in Florida. How was your experience there, and what made you want to go there?
So, like you said, things happened really quickly. I, within 2 years, was #1 in Florida, #1 in America, won the national championships, lost the finals of the Orange Bowl, and the 12 and unders. And at 13, my dad was like, "Okay, that's it. No more juniors for you. You're going to play professional tennis."
Wow.
I was like, "Okay." And so he asked the USTA for help, and the USTA said, "Sure, we'll help, but Mary has to work with one of our national coaches." And my dad said, "Nope, I'm the coach." And they said, "Well, sorry, we can't help you." And so my dad said to my mom being from France, said, "Call the French Tennis Federation and see if they'll help." And they said, "Yes, come on over." So we went over, and my dad said, "Well, because you needed help," and the French Tennis Federation said, "Yes, you're going to play for France, your mom's country." I'm like, "Okay." So for a year, I trained in France, and I played the Women's Open, French tournaments, because the minimum age requirement to play on the pro tour is 14 years old, so I had to wait a year. And my dad took me out of school, and I trained, basically 8 hours a day, and did all of my schooling through correspondence courses, and waited to be 14 years old and start playing on the tour. So it happened really quickly, and thinking now to Nick Bolleteirri and the academy there. I went there the first time when I was 13, just for a few months. I remember I was there, and then, like I said, we moved to France, and it was when I was 18 that when I basically stopped working with my dad as my coach, and that's when I asked Nick Bolleteirri to coach me. That was at 18 years old.
Now tell me, obviously Nick is world famous. He's obviously known to have worked with the Williams. He's worked with Andre Agassi, Jim Courier, a lot of great players. What was it that made Nick, probably seen as one of the best coaches in the world? What was his? What was that? Was it was it his way he could motivate players? What was it exactly about Nick?
Nick's really special. He, first of all, is super passionate about what he does. I mean, he'll coach until he dies, probably. It's just what he was born to do, and he loves it. And so that he loves what he does, and he genuinely cares about you. It's like he was like a second dad, to me. And it was like, he knows that that he loves you, that he cares about you, that he wants the best for you, as a person and as an athlete, as a tennis player. And so when you really feel that person that is so passionate about what they do, and they really care about you, and they push you, and they want you to do the best, it makes you want to do your best also, for him when you're out on the court training. It's like he's able to get the best out of you. And I think for me that was his greatest gift and quality, which is really not easy to do, but he just knew how to get the best out of you, and was able to do that with everybody, male or female, no matter what age or what level you were at. That was definitely Nick's gift of, getting straight to the point, working hard, quality, intense, getting the best out of you. And, he was very open, very honest, and very direct. So he would say the things just as they are. So there was no hiding or beating around the bush about anything, with Nick. And, you definitely work hard and brought the best out of you.
So the words I'm picking up there are definitely care, honesty. As you just said there, Nick, he tells you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear sometimes.
Definitely. Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I remember Nick was, told me once, Mary, you need to lose 5 pounds. And I was like, I thought I was perfectly fine. Or you need to stop eating tiramisu, or, I don't know. There were just certain things like, sometimes whatever it is, like he's not afraid to tell you what you need to hear for you to be the best. And, I think at the end of the day, as an athlete, if you're really sincere and you're really honest and you really want to be the best that you can be, you love that and you appreciate that and you respect that, because someone has the guts enough to care about you, to tell you the truth, because you know that it's what's best for you and that's what's going to make you the best version of yourself as a person and as a player. And, a lot of coaches sometimes are afraid. Excuse me, they're afraid to say something because they're afraid, the player is going to get upset, or then they're not going to want to work with them anymore. Mm-hmm. And, I think that's unfortunate. And I think that, you need to really just tell them what's best for them to be the best. And I think if they really want to be the best, they'll take it. It's not, look, there wasn't always things that my coaches said or that Nick said that was easy to hear or that I liked in the moment. Definitely not. There were many times like, I didn't like it, but I knew it was right and I knew it was good for me and I did it and I listened to them. And at the end of the day, you're glad that you did because you know it was right and you know it was what's best for you. So those are the times when you have to make the tough choices and the tough decisions. There are many times in my career where I look back and I think, man, it was hard. And, it's so easy to take the other route or the easy way out or just, just this one meal. I'm not going to put cheese on it because, I'll put the cheese. I'm not supposed to have cheese, but I'll put the cheese on it because, I just really want it and it's okay. It's just like this one time or whatever, but you just then are like, nope, I'm not going to do it. Okay. It's really hard, but you make these little decisions and they make a difference in the end, for sure. It's also about being disciplined, discipline, sacrifice, all part of it.
There's a key word right there. Yeah, absolutely. Now, obviously, let's go on to a little bit of the tour now. I mean, you made your debut at 14 years and 2 months, which is incredibly young. I think maybe there's only a few other players that had that, maybe Tracy Austin, Martina Hingis. I mean, there's not many that were that young. But you had a career that spanned, 20 years, 20 plus years, Mary? I'm like giving a guess right now.
Yeah, I started on the tour when I was 14, so I was the youngest to come on tour until Jennifer Capriati, when they made an exception to the rule so that she could debut her career in Boca Raton, where, Chris Everett's family was all from, because she was being coached by, Chris's dad, and she was like 13 years old and something months. But so I started at 14, and then I played all the way until I was 31, where I injured my knee playing a tournament into 2006.
I remember.
Austria. So I had a long career. I had a great career. I would have definitely kept playing because when I hurt my knee, I was 31, but like feeling great. I was fit and. Mentally I was still hungry and I just had a lot of experience. And so I would have probably played for a few more years. But definitely had a great long career that I'm very proud of.
Yeah, I remember that match. I mean, it was against Daniela, wasn't it?
I hurt my knee in Linz, Austria against Vera Zvonareva.
Vera, that's it, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, It was... that was very, very tough to watch, to be honest, because I know what you'd done to come back to be at that level, to be fit again. I mean, how frustrating were injuries for you, Mary, especially in the later part of your career?
I had to deal with injuries throughout my career. I never had anything really serious until that knee injury. No surgeries until the knee injury as well. But I did have a few shoulder injuries that took me out for 3 months at a time. My worst injury probably during my career was my back in 2001. I had a herniated disc and a bulging disc, and I was out for 7 months. And couldn't do anything. I was allowed to walk my dog 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night, and that was it. And, but and I was tough because, you completely lose everything.
Yeah.
Overweight, out of shape, you lose your ranking. I went down to like 300 in the world. And, it was hard. There are moments where you're like, am I going to be able to come back? When am I going to be able to come back? And then even sometimes, like with my back injury, when I started coming back and rehabbing, the first day after 7 months of just complete rest until I had no more pain, I arrive and the physio says, okay, hop on the bike, do 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, cool. Do my 5-minute bike warm up and, see what's next. And then I'm like, okay. And he's like, how was that? Any pain? I said, nope, nothing. And he's like, okay, great. We'll see you tomorrow. And I was like, what? I'm like, you're kidding me. We're never going to get nowhere. This is like snail pace. Oh my gosh, So it's hard. It takes patience. It takes perseverance. It takes faith. It takes a team around you to help you in those moments where it's hard, where you're doubting, where you're wondering, am I ever going to be able to come back again? How long is this going to take? So it's definitely not easy. That's for sure. The thing that I can say, like I said, it's important to have a great team around you to help you stay positive. And, one thing that my mom always said to me in my whole life, as long as I can remember, she always says, Mary, everything always happens for a reason, and it's always for the best. And, I always believe that. And no matter what happened, in my life, I thought, okay, this has happened. And what's the reason? Sometimes we know, sometimes we don't. But let's see, what can I do to make the best of this situation in my life right now? And what can I learn from this? What can I learn from this situation? How can I make this the best? Okay, if I can't play tennis right now, then it gives me time to do something else. Okay, so then what is that something else that I want to? Maybe it's like learn something that I didn't have time to learn, or a new hobby, or just even spend time with my family, or whatever it could be. But just to know that it happened for a reason, and it's always for the best. So that really helped me as well through everything that I went through.
Mary, what do you miss most about playing?
What do I miss most about playing? I would say two things. One would be the training, because I love to just train, especially being in the gym. And
that was going to be my next question, actually.
My favorite part. So I miss the training. And probably just the big moments, being on center court with a packed crowd and the big match, and just, playing awesome and just having that atmosphere and that environment, and just, living those big matches with the crowd.
Tell me, life on the tour, did you have many friends, or was it difficult to make friends with, with your opponents, so to say?
Yeah, no, I had friends on tour. And, like I said earlier on, we were talking, it can be a lonely life being out on tour. And, it's nice to know that there are some players that you get along with and that you can do things with, and, go to dinner, or, sometimes go to amusement parks, or just walk around sometimes. And so, yeah, I did have friends, and it was difficult sometimes when we had to end up playing each other. But we always knew, and we spoke. We're like, okay, look, we're professional tennis players. We're competitors. We're here for a tournament. That's why we're here. So obviously, I know you want to win. You know that I want to win. So when we step on the court, we're playing the yellow ball. Nothing personal. We're going to give it our best, and we're going to, compete and fight. And like I said, I know you want to win. You know I want to win. And then when the match is over, we're friends again. But on the court, we just play the yellow ball. So. And
did it always work out? About it. Did it always work out like that? Or.
Yeah. So, I mean, for sure, I always remained friends with all of my, opponents that I was friends with afterwards. Yeah, we were always friends afterwards. It didn't affect our friendship. So.
Yeah. Now, obviously, I was going to ask you, did you really love the game? Did you love to practice? And obviously, it sounded like you did, because, I mean, it's very hard to become so good or at such a high level if you don't love something, right? That's always something I tell other people, is that, it has to be your dream. It has to be your vision. So often, especially, we live in Florida here, and it's a tennis and golf hotbed where, and you've seen them as well, I'm sure, Mary, at academies where there's kids going to practice, and you can see that they just don't even want to be there. Now,
Mm-hmm,
is there any
mm-hmm.
advice that you could give parents out there with obviously, parenting a child or, a child of whatever age it may be, 8, 12, 14, whatever. Is there any advice that you would give parents there, not just for tennis, but for sports?
Yeah. I think it's so important. I mean, my own personal view is that it's really important to allow a child to be exposed to many different things at a young age, as far as sports and, could be arts or music or whatever it is, just to give them an opportunity in all different kinds of things, to see what they like, and to see what they're good at and what they enjoy. And for me, that's number one, and that they do something that they love to do, something that makes them happy. And I think that, when they find that, even when you do find that thing that you love to do, there are going to be days where you're tired, or there's going to be days where you just don't feel like being there. You just don't feel like training, or I had a lot of those days, where I was like, oh man, you don't want to get out of bed. You're tired. You're sore everywhere. You just want to keep sleeping. Or, your coach asks you to do something, or your strength and conditioning coach asks you to do something. You're like, oh, I don't want to do that. You have those moments.
I know the feeling. Especially in my 40s now, Mary. I know the feeling. I get that quite often, actually. The sad thing is, I haven't even done any exercise to warrant the pain. That's the problem.
Yeah, of course you have. How many marathons have you done? Excuse me.
Yeah, maybe that's part of the reason.
But yeah. So there are those moments, and I think it's important when you do have your team around you and your parents. I think it's important that the parents are there and present in their child's life, that the child feels that their parents care, that they're invested, and that they're helping them, because their parents can also be a great source of motivation and inspiration, care and comfort as well, and support in those difficult moments where they can really help them and remind them, okay, this is your dream. This is what you want to do. Why do you want to do this? Come on, you can do it. And they can help them, in a healthy way, and I think, thinking about sometimes parents or coaches as parents or parents as coaches, there can be a unhealthy, sometimes abusive relationships where they really push them too hard or make them do something, that they don't want to do, or that could be detrimental to their well-being, mental, emotional, or physical, And I think it's important that it's a healthy relationship. For me, first and foremost, which is the most important, that I would say to parents, is to love your children unconditionally. No matter what they do, how they performed or what their result was, that their child isn't afraid of you, but that they always feel that they can come to you and that you're always going to love them unconditionally no matter what. Yes, you can have the tough conversations about, maybe your behavior today wasn't on court, wasn't proper, wasn't great, or, your effort level today was unacceptable and you didn't give 100% of yourself. Or there are those tough conversations that you can have. But, I always say speaking the truth in love. And there's the tough love and there's the tough conversations that you need to have as well with your kids. But I think the most important is that the relationship is always healthy and the relationship is always intact, and that tennis or whatever sport or whatever it is doesn't destroy your relationship with your child or your family. I think that's the most important.
That's great advice. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Switching gears, you were inducted into the Tennis Hall of Fame last year. I think it was with Lena and Evgeny Kafelnikov. My mistake. I actually thought it was Marat Safin, but he was obviously the class before. How much did that mean to you, Mary, and how important was that?
Wow, that's a great question, because that actually just blew my mind. I was like, wow. Watching all of my idols on TV and, seeing them play and then in the Hall of Fame, and then think now, like, I'm nominated and now I'm being inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame. It's your whole career. It's your whole career being recognized, and they're just saying, we recognize you and your career in tennis as being one of the greatest tennis players in the history of the game. And I'm like, wow, that's me. Like, that's amazing.
It is.
It's really, it's mind blowing and it's humbling, and you feel very proud and satisfied, and it's like just being rewarded. It's just like one of the greatest rewards. I mean, obviously, winning a Grand Slam tournament was like I said, my dream in tennis. But being inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame, and that's in the history of the game of tennis. It's like a reward for everything that I've gone through and everything that I've done. All those years of pain, of suffering, of blood, sweat, and tears. Mm-hmm. The sacrifices and everything that went into it, and that I had to do to achieve all of my results and goals and dreams, is being recognized in that moment, and it's very, very satisfying.
Yeah, well, Mary, I've been following your career since you were 14, so very well deserved. I mean, obviously, what you've been through. Obviously, I've seen hands-on as well, being at the same tournaments as you, and so on and so forth. Just how much you've given to the game and how much of your life you've given to the sport as well. So it's been pretty phenomenal. I have a confession. I have a confession to make, Mary.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Yes.
This is going public. Now, I'm sure like every other teenager had a crush on you, Mary. I did as well. I was one of those, okay. I have to admit. Okay. And when you came to South Africa in 1990, when was it? When did you come to South Africa? You were with Anna Kournikova.
Was it for an exhibition?
Yes.
Yeah, that must have been, that was 90, goodness, 95, 96?
Okay. Well, do you want to know something, Mary?
I don't know. Sure.
I think it was around about there, a long time ago. But I was at the airport, and I asked you for an autograph. It was just as you were putting your bag into the car, and you were so kind, and you signed it, and you said good luck, and so I was.
No way.
Yes, and I don't think I've ever told you that story or told anybody else.
No,
for that
you
reason.
never told me that. That's so cute.
Yeah. That was in Johannesburg, and I was a massive fan of yours.
Goodness.
And so actually, before you knew it, Mary, we met a long time ago in South Africa. So there you go.
No way. Oh, I love that story. That is so cute.
Yeah. Oh, I'm actually. If you were to see me right now, I'm as red as a tomato now. So.
Are you blushing?
Yes, I am. I had to get that out of my system. Okay.
I love it. That's good. Now you feel it's out.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Anyway. All right. I can carry on. I've got that out of my system now. It's just one of those things you just have to tell somebody. You
just got to get it out.
Exactly. Oh gosh. Anyway,
thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. All right. I want to be respectful of your time. I mean, this has been an awesome chat with you. What keeps you busy?
Great.
What keeps you busy these days, Mary?
So as you said earlier, I'm on the ITF board of directors. I'm the female player representative. This is my second term. Each term is 4 years. So I'm in my first year of my second term. And so we have quite a few meetings, but now they're all through Zoom because of the coronavirus situation. Quite a few emails to go through as well for that. And I'm on some different committees and commissions. So, the Olympic Committee, the Fed Cup Committee, the Athlete Commission. I've just been elected to be the chair of the ITF Women's Player Panel, so to represent all of the women on the ITF Pro Tour, to give them a voice.
Right.
And I'm on the Olympic Education Committee or Commission on the IOC as well. So yeah, it keeps me busy. All those different meetings and committees and commissions, but I find it very interesting now to be on the other side of tennis and to be on the inside, and just to know everything that's going on and to be a part of it and to be able to help the players, the female players, to bring their opinions, suggestions, and their voice to be heard in the tennis world. And we deal with everything that has to do with also with Fed Cup, Davis Cup, Olympics, integrity and anti-doping and rules and all kinds of things that touch tennis. So I love it. It's very interesting, and I'm grateful to be able to serve and to give back to tennis in that way. And, I think as well. Something that I went through when my father was sick in February 2016. He got bladder cancer, and I was able to be with him through that. And he passed away in April of 2017. And the last few months with him were very rich and very special. And you know, when the doctor told my father that he had 1 to 3 months left to live, it was, you can't really put something like that into words when you experience something like that for real. Usually you see things like that in a movie. And just, you know, to really see after that, I think my dad passed away, I think like 10 days later. And, you know, it was really a life-changing experience, and it made me think about everything really in my life. And I thought, what am I doing right now? And why am I doing it? And if I knew how much time I had left, would I be living this way? And my answer was no. So I was like, okay, well, why am I doing this? And, you know, I think a lot of times we take so many things for granted every day, and we don't realize how precious our time is, and we don't know how long we have here on earth. We don't. Exactly. You know, that's the thing. But if we did, what would we do? And for me, I want to do something that I wake up every morning and I'm excited and I'm passionate about. And, you know, I can't play professional tennis anymore on the tour, but there are other things now that I can do. And I want to do something that is going to have an impact globally, and something that's going to touch people's hearts and change people's lives for the better. So with my team right now, you know, we're talking about what is that and what does that look like and what are those things that I can do and how can we do them. So there are a few projects that I would like to say that are, you know, in my mind and my heart, and we're talking about them and seeing, you know, what are the next steps forward and what I am going to be doing. So nothing quite yet that I can make an announcement on, but to know that also is, you know, what is, you know, partly keeping me busy during my days besides the IETF things. But there are some projects that I would like to do in the future, and that that I'm excited about. So you know, there's that, and then there's also, you know, spending time with my family and taking care of myself and my health, and, you know, working out. And you know, during this coronavirus time, I've been home, so I've been cooking and
doing all the other necessary skills.
So, you know, everyday normal life as well. But and I've been mentoring some players, which I enjoy. I really enjoy that. You know, like I said, I don't have a desire to travel very much. So, you know, being able to help and mentor players is something that I love and something that I enjoy as well, because I see that everything that I've done in my career, in my whole life, you know, is I've learned so much and I've achieved so much. And even through the mistakes that I've made, that I can help others just to be the best that they can possibly be in a holistic way, you know, and look at that from A to Z and see how can I help them to be the best that they can be and achieve their goals and their dreams. So that's something that I love to do as well. Awesome.
Sounds like you're busier than ever, to be honest. So now we're a little bit pressed for time here. So I've just got 3 questions from I got 3 questions from followers and fans of yours that I had actually probably over 15, but there's just going to be no chance we're going to get through those. So quick answers. Who was your toughest opponent or opponents? That's from Johan in Gothenburg, Sweden.
Hi, Johan in Sweden. Thank you for your question. My toughest opponent first was myself.
Good answer.
But then after that, I would say there were 2 players that were not very well known. It was Kimberly Poe and Amy Frazier from America. And they were the toughest just because they were like walls. They would get everything back. My pace didn't bother them. You know, I was one of the hardest hitters on tour, and I would overpower players, and it didn't seem like I could overpower them. They got every ball back. They never missed. I was like, well, how do you beat them? So I had to be very patient, change my style of game, and try to play, you know, different and smart to try to beat them. So they were the 2 toughest ones.
Yeah, I remember Amy. I mean, all respect. I mean, amazing player. I mean, obviously we'd have expected you to have said someone like Capriati or the Williams and so on, but that's the funny thing. You have those players that are like those, like you just said, those bogey players, for example. But Amy Frazier, I mean, she used to pitch up to the tournament looking like a club player. With all respect, nothing flashy, nothing like amazing, no entourage, and like you said, just one of the toughest opponents, because she just got everything back, like you said. So I remember Amy.
Oh yeah, Amy Fraser was incredible. She'd be sitting in a chair with her legs crossed, reading a book just before her match. Yeah. Amy, go play your match. Okay, fold her book, put it in her racket bag, walk to the corner. I'm like, what?
And I think she would also only have 2 rackets sometimes.
Never got injured. I was like,
yeah, she would go on the court with 2 rackets and like a water bottle.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
Andrea in Bucharest, Romania asks, do you have any regrets?
Andrea in Romania, thank you for your question. I do not. And like I think I was saying earlier, if you're listening this podcast, that I can proudly look back on my career and say that, I do not have any regrets, and be proud of that, because I always believed that at the time I was doing what I thought was right. In my heart and my conscience, I believed I was doing what was right and what was best.
Good answer. Last question, and it's from Angelo Rossetti. And a little bit of information about Angelo. I know him. He held the world record, Mary, for the longest rally with his twin brother. It was in the Guinness Book of Records. It was 25,944 strokes. It took them 14 hours and 31 minutes without missing a ball. And Angelo,
oh my goodness!
Yeah,
congratulations.
Angelo's question is: what was your biggest mindset challenge, and what was your biggest mindset accomplishment?
Well, Angelo, I think I want to ask you that question. What you did? No, that is a great question. Biggest mindset challenge. And then the second part of the question was what? Sorry again?
Yeah, what was your biggest mindset accomplishment? Maybe, either one of those. Okay. One of those questions. Yeah.
For me, the first thing that pops into my mind was basically staying in the moment. I think it's really easy to think about the mistake that we made in the past, or the bad call, or how could I have missed that shot or lost that game or whatever. I had set point, I lost a set, or be thinking in the future, like, okay, if I win this point, I'm going to win the match. I can win this, and all these things affect you, what you're thinking mentally, it affects you emotionally, and how it affects you emotionally, it affects you physically, and then in your performance. So for me, to be able to be at my best and play my best and compete at the highest level, the most important thing for me was to always stay in the moment. And when I could do that, that helped me tremendously to be able to perform at my highest level.
I think that's a great answer, because I think that is the single greatest challenge to players, is staying in the moment. It really is. So, perfect example.
Yeah.
Mary, do we have time for quick questions, one word or a sentence?
Let's do it.
I will shoot through these. So, all right, here we go.
Okay.
Favorite food?
Pizza.
Oh, nice. Had some yesterday, actually. Yeah. Any particular type?
Well, back in the day when I was eating everything, it was just a good old pepperoni.
There you go.
But now it's the vegan, gluten-free.
That's not a pizza. Come on.
Veggie version.
Favorite city?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Gosh, Paris and Melbourne.
Okay. Hobby?
Jet skiing.
Music?
Christian.
Movie?
All the Bourne series. The Bourne series is the best.
Very good. I like that. Actor?
I like Denzel Washington.
Actress?
I really like Julia Roberts.
Book?
The Bible.
Beach or mountains?
Definitely beach.
Favorite male athlete, past or present?
Wow. I'm thinking, goodness gracious, there's a decathlete, is it Dan O'Brien?
Yes.
You remember? I just thought he was amazing to be able to do. I think those athletes are amazing to be able to compete in 10 disciplines
it's
at the
ridiculous.
Olympics at the highest level like that. I just think they're just incredible athletes.
I know, like 10 sports. I mean, I obviously took part in duathlon and triathlon, which was 3. That was bad enough. But I look at these guys and girls, it's like 10 sports. How do you even... I mean, never mind the time, but also the cost, and you need a coach for each sport. I mean, it's wow, yeah. That's a very good choice there.
Yeah, incredible.
Favorite female athlete, past or present?
Okay, well... I love gymnastics, so like Mary Lou Retton is the first one that like popped into my mind because I love watching gymnastics, and I just thought that she was incredible, and she has like a most amazing smile. But of course, Chris Evert is my idol in tennis. I love watching her play, so I cannot not say her name either.
Favorite sports team?
Favorite sports team? Well, back in the day, the Chicago Bulls basketball, when you had Jordan and Rodman and Pippen and Longley and all those guys. That was just amazing to watch.
Early bird or late night owl?
Unfortunately, I'm a late night owl. I'd love to be an early bird, but it just is a challenge.
It must have been tough for you, definitely at the Bolleteirri years, because like practices would start at 6, wouldn't they?
Oh my goodness, Nick only slept 3 hours. If that would be like a lot of sleep if he slept for 3 hours. So he was already at 4 in the gym doing his workout, and he had to be there at 6. And oh no!
and knowing Nick, when he did sleep, he had one eye open and one ear open as well when he slept as well. So
and his notepad right next to him with his pen.
Exactly, yeah. Tea, coffee, or protein shake?
Tea for sure.
Nickname?
NP.
Lunch with any 2 people or even 1 person, dead or alive, who would they be and why? Well, that's actually a long question, so I'll just say who would it be?
Well, I mean, honestly, the first person that pops into my mind is Jesus. I've just got so many questions.
Don't we all? Yeah. Okay, perfect. If you could describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be?
Okay. Fun, happy, and loving.
Perfect. Excellent. Mary, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much. Like I said, I went totally off script, which made the conversation even better, especially the first half. But before I ask you the last question, I'd just like to acknowledge you, not only as a great person, a great player, ambassador, an example of grace and humility, but also as a great friend. So I just wanted to acknowledge you for that, first of all. And then...
thank you, Allistair.
Thank you. And then finally, in your opinion, Mary, what does it take to be champion-minded?
Well, I would like to take this moment to acknowledge you in return. I really respect you, and I really love what you're doing. I'm a fan of your work, and I think what you're doing is great. It's such great material, and it's so good, just to see and to read everything that you're doing. I love it. And even for me personally and professionally, I receive and I learn a lot from you, and I'm very grateful for that. So thank you for what you're doing, and how you're making a difference and impacting the world and people's lives personally and professionally. And just always wonderful, to have a great friend like you as well. So continue to keep it real.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Mary.
Real macabre, but yeah, and your question again, please.
Well, first of all, thank you so much. I mean, that means a lot to me. So, they always say you become the people that you spend the most time with or associate with. And,
For sure.
I'll be the first one to admit I don't have a lot of friends, but I make sure the people I do keep around me are good quality people with good values and good principles. Yeah. And you're definitely one of those people as well. So the final question was,
I agree.
Here we go. What does it take to be champion-minded?
What does it take to be champion-minded? Oof. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of discipline. it takes an open mind, an open heart to be able to be ready to listen and to hear the truth from the people that are those that are around you, that you know, that love you and care about you, want the best from you. Being like a sponge, wanting to learn, wanting to grow, wanting to be the best version of yourself every day, and to be open to learn every day, and to strive to be the best that you can possibly be.
Wow, couldn't have said it better. Mary, what's the best way for our listeners to reach you or to follow you? Any social media accounts that they can follow?
Yeah, well, on Facebook, I have my own page, so people can follow me there. And on Twitter as well, it's at _ Mary Pierce. And also on Instagram, it's Mary Pierce _75. So
perfect.
That's where I am.
Perfect. Excellent. Mary, thanks so much for taking the time to come onto the podcast. I mean, this has been absolutely awesome. I will let you get on with the rest of your day, which probably includes housework, all those other fun things.
And a workout.
Exactly. All right.
Yes, thank you, Allistair. It's been awesome. I really enjoyed my time with you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Mary. So there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed that one with Mary as much as I did. I mean, as you can tell from this conversation, just such a caring, loving, incredible person. And obviously what a champion of the sport as well Mary has been. Also, as always, if you enjoyed this episode with Mary or any other episodes on the Champion Minded podcast, please share them. I really appreciate that. Also, remember that this podcast is available on YouTube and on iTunes. Connect with me on social media on Twitter at Allistair McCall, on Facebook, Allistair McCall page, and on Instagram, Be Champion Minded. So as always, remember you were made for greatness. Now go do the work. Stay champion minded.